The Beautiful Game?
The Beautiful Game is is one of the opening big group numbers in The Boys in the Photograph, and it basically is when the whole community kind of comes together and talks about how important, you know, the game of soccer is to their tight-knit community.
Soccer, but it's much more than soccer. I have Tony LePage, Erica Peck, the two bright young stars of the brand new Andrew Lloyd Webber, Sir Ben Elton musical, The Boys in the Photograph. Erica, I just want to ask, what is it like working with someone that's got the first name of Sir? He's knighted.
I actually have had the pleasure of working with Ben before. Andrew Lloyd Webber is on his way. He's en route to Winnipeg as we speak, actually. But Ben directed We'll Rock You in Toronto, which I was fortunate enough to be the lead female in that show. So it's been a completely different experience working with Ben this time. We're doing a lot more dramatic material, and it's a much heavier show in terms of the book. It's funny and it's wonderful, and it's been absolutely a dream.
Oh, I can't imagine. Now, Tony, how did you land the lead role of John?
Well, they held auditions in Toronto, and I, showed up like everybody else, kind of thing, and it was a long process. We auditioned for this, probably about over a year ago, and so it's been a long process of, callbacks and this and that, and the other thing, you go in, you sing a song, and they go back, grab these, and it's just been. The funny story about the audition is that when they told me, Ben Elton told me in the room that I had gotten the part, and I actually fell down. I actually I fell on my knees, and I was just and everybody was laughing, and it was just, this has been just the most amazing time.
Oh, the music is wonderful, but the story is really compelling, isn't it, Erica? It kind of follows a journey of some good friends in high school, ready to move on in their life, but there's something really serious happening in their own town.
Absolutely, and I think the wonderful thing about this show, in fact, probably its strongest aspect, is that we tackle a fairly heavy and serious subject, but the show is not heavy. We have our moments of big drama, but it's about people who are learning to deal with situations that are beyond their front door, and you can laugh, and it's a beautiful story, and it's definitely not a heavy night at the theater. It is in no way depressing. It is a blast. In fact, everybody's favorite scene in the entire show features the audience laughing at Tony and I. So
there you go.
Tremendously awkward situations. So it's a wonderful evening out at the theater, a complete night.
And Tony, through all of this, I know you're thinking about your character, you're acting, you're singing, you're dancing. But if you actually think of the story now, dealing with young people growing up in Belfast just before Civil War, have you grown any new opinions about living in a place like Belfast or living in other places in the world where they are facing this right now?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because it's such a surreal concept, I think, to people. I grew up in New Brunswick. I went to high school, but I did not go through anything near anything like this. So it's such a topical story in an odd sort of way that there's so much sort of conflict still. It seems surreal in today's day and age that anything would need to be sort of sorted out through violence in any way. But it's just, I think that one of the beauties of this show is that it addresses that topic, but just with such a feeling that people will come out of this show feeling so empowered, and just such a feeling of hope, and it's really, really nice. Ben Elton has done an amazing job with the book of this story. It's been amazing.
Okay. Come and see Tony here. Come and see Erica. They are the leads in The Boys in the Photograph right here at MTC. It starts April 30th, runs right through till May 23rd. I've never done this before. I'm giving Shaw TV's 5 stars already. So definitely come and see it. It's well worth it. For more information, you can go to the website, and that is mtc.nb.ca. And that is a wrap for Backseat.
It's an obsession, the reason we're here, 'cause it's better than sex, and it's better than beer. So we are the Emerald Team, Mother Mary's Irish.
The final production of MTC's current season is ready for its premiere, and it will be a real crowd pleaser. It's the new Ben Elton, Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, The Boys in the Photograph. Written by by Ben Elton with music by Andrew Lloyd Webber, The Boys in the Photograph is a revamp of the award-winning musical The Beautiful Game, which premiered in London in 2000. So in effect, the world premiere of the new version is taking place right here at MTS's main stage. In fact, there's word Andrew Lloyd Webber himself will come to Winnipeg to see this production. The Boys in the Photograph, boasting an all-Canadian cast, is a coming-of-age story about a group of young people in Belfast in the late 60s.
Although the show is set in Belfast at a time of great almost civil war, it's about basically the corrupting power of hatred and the redeeming power of love, like any good love story, and essentially it is a love story.
That was Ben Elton. Previews of The Boys in the Photograph are currently running. The musical officially premieres April 30th and runs until May 23rd. Should be a
Hi, I'm Erica Peck.
And I'm Tony Lepage.
Come see us fall in love in The Boys in the Photograph, coming up on Backstage.
Welcome to Backstage. Stay tuned because you'll have the best seat in the house to have a first-hand look at The Boys in the Photograph. It's the season closer for MTC at John Hirsch Theatre, and it is their biggest production yet of this year. It is led by none other than Sir Ben Elton and Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber. A fantastic musical. It's a coming-of-age story. It's a love story. And like all musicals, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that make it all work. So let's go behind the scenes, meet the sets and costumes and design people, and meet the wardrobe people. And of course, we start off with the director himself, Sir Ben Elton.
We're going to do a little scene for you from near the beginning of the show. It's set in Northern Ireland in 1969. It's been said it's a musical about terrorism, which I don't think would be very attractive. It's not. It's a musical about love, but love challenged by hate. This is a bunch of kids and the girls that follow the team who are having to readjust very quickly to the misfortune of being born in very difficult times. And the boys in the photograph of the title are obviously that's the team photograph, which is taken at the beginning of a season in the summer of '69, which was the beginning of a terrible, terrible time in Belfast, the beginning of what was effectively a civil war. And so our story obviously follows the fortunes of those boys in the photograph and the girls that love them and the coach that coaches them. And it's not about football, it's not about sport, it's about passion, it's about love, and it's about whether love can triumph over hate.
Elton and his business partner, Andrew Lloyd Webber, discovered the great talent base in Canada when they were setting the rock musical We Will Rock You in Toronto a few years ago. And they didn't forget.
We just discovered a wealth of talent which just knocked us sideways. I mean, brilliant young performers, kids with great senses of humour, brilliant voices and great actors, which is what you need, of course, for musical theatre. And so such was the fun I had, and so inspired was I by all the people I was working with, that I actually spoke to the Mervish organisation about the fact that Andrew Lloyd Webber and I were considering revisiting, reinventing, recreating our musical, The Boys in the Photograph. And could it possibly originate in Canada? And you know, they grabbed the chance, which was wonderful for us, and made a partnership with Winnipeg, with the MTC, and here we are. I'm the only Brit here, and Andrew's the only Brit coming. So clearly, my relationship with the Canadian theatre world is one that's been just absolutely inspiring for me.
Soccer star, make me drive a fancy car, build a mansion in the country for my ma and pa.
Rehearsal continues upstairs, and down in the theatre, the stage is being set and built. It's the late 60s in Belfast, and war is about to break. It's all the vision of Brian Perchalik, the sets and costume designer. He begins his creations on a small scale.
This is the world that it's played in, and it is a kind of a red brick row house, the poorer part of town, and most of the scenes play out in there. There's a number of different scenes, and to facilitate that, we have some moving pieces. We have these two large units which are on pivots and will rotate into different configurations. So we have some sort of wide open spaces. So it's fairly complex. There are probably, I think there are probably like more than 20 different scenes in the show. We're not realizing them completely. They're suggested, but all within this environment of this gritty kind of world of Belfast, 1960, late 60s and early 70s. In the prison, and that's where these are used. So we have one upstage, one. Goes in like that. And then one downstage. So there's a whole scene is probably played within that. And that sort of ties in with our metal panels that frame the space. And down here we have the orchestra pit too, which will also be covered in the chain link fence.
From Perchelec's tiny models to the workshop of the props department, it's up to Jim Sutherland and his crew to make all the drawings a reality.
We build furniture. We supply all the accoutrement that goes into anyone's home. That means lighting fixtures, pictures, any kind of special effects for a show. We do that, blood work, knives, swords, that kind of thing. Yeah, and some of the stuff you see up on the roof, like the cakes and that, we make artificial food. Whatever nobody else wants to do, we do.
For Boys in the Photograph, Sutherland and the crew have to refurbish an Austin Mini to make it level for the dancing.
So this Mini plays in the show as well.
And rotating platforms for the actors to move around furniture. So there never really is a dull moment.
Every hour there can be something different. Suddenly you have to run upstairs and do something up in rehearsal hall because something has changed. You know, we get notes such as the paper bag that our groceries are, they're too loud. So we have to make paper bags quiet. Whatever they need, we have to jump through a hoop to hopefully accommodate their needs.
Next door in wardrobe, the sewers are busy putting the final touches on the costumes for the show, creating works that are 70s inspired from the sketches by Perchelec. And it's all been a lot of fun for Lorraine O'Leary and her wardrobe staff.
So this is our ladies' chorus rack. We've finished doing the female leads, and as you can see, there's a lot of stuff here that dates back to the late 60s and 70s. This we actually found with its original sales tag on, unbelievably. So it's never been worn. So there are little cachets of this stuff still out there. Vintage stores, Salvation Armies, thrift stores. Value Village, Sally Ann, basically anywhere and everywhere. There's a little warehouse over there that has has a lot of stuff. These shoes are, years ago, a shoe company went down in Winnipeg before I was even here and donated all these shoes. So these are original 1960s Beatle boots. Wow. These are going on, these are guys' shoes, yes. So yeah, kind of early Elton John. These are for the party scene, but we found these at a vintage store. And then these ones I think are originally MTC stock.
It's a big show for wardrobe, 25 actors with 8 to 10 costume changes, 2 full wedding parties to recreate, soccer uniforms, and lots of inspiration from old Eaton's catalogs. But how about those hard-to-find items?
Surprisingly, we've had very good luck. Mitchell's Fabrics is a gold mine for fabrics of that era. They actually have things they've held on to in their vintage section. And the clothing stores, it's a lot of work going through. You get tired by store number 4 or 5 in one day, but yeah, just going through there, we have found a lot of really great looking vintage stuff. And it's funny, some of these kids we're retro now, so one of the actors this morning said, hey, I want to buy this shirt after the show, so.
It sounds like everyone involved has enjoyed the journey of putting this production together. And when the curtain rises on opening night, they all will be celebrating. And maybe in more ways than just one.
I don't think people realize just how healthy MTC is. Theaters in the States are closing down now, cutting back. Zaz and Stephen keep the ship running. It's extraordinary. It really is.
You need to focus on your game. I will, Father Nelson.
For Shaw TV in Winnipeg, I'm Tracy Koga.
I was a bit too opinionated if you...
And Winnipeg world premiere. premiere, if you will. The Boys in the Photograph, joined now by two of the actors here, Tony LePage and Erica Peck. Thank you, the two of you, for coming down. Now, Tony, let's start with you and find out just a brief synopsis about this show.
Well, basically, it tells a story of a community in Northern Ireland in Belfast, who tells a story about these guys on a soccer team, and the girls who love the men on the soccer team, kind of thing, the boys. And the Boys in the Photograph is basically about, the problem being that they were born, that they're living in 1969 Belfast, which is that's when the troubles, sort of began. And but basically it just kind of tells the tale of them, trying to live their lives in a difficult time, but in all the struggles that they go through.
Okay, so a bit of a love story in there too, maybe?
Yes, there is a love story. Yeah, that's right.
And we do have a bit of a clip that we can take a look at. Can you tell us what this is about?
Well, you're going to be looking at the beautiful game, and it's right at the top of the show. It kind of sets up the whole feeling of youth and of sport and joy. And I think that's the most important thing that everybody should know about the show. Is it's not a heavy show. It's a serious topic, but it's approached with humor and love. And so this is a beautiful game. It's singing about our love of football.
Excellent. Well, let's check it out.
So, boys, let's begin with a little basic. The origin. What are the three things you need to know about God? Number one, He's Irish. Number two, He's Catholic. And last but not least, He plays the beautiful game.
Feeling of a big musical, which of course is what people are going to expect, because one of the names behind this show, Andrew Lloyd Webber, you know him from Cats, Phantom of the Opera, some big shows, and he's done the music for this one. Ben Elton, book and lyrics. You've worked with Ben before in the past. Tell us about this
I have. I had the wonderful opportunity. I'm from Toronto, and they mounted the Queen musical We Will Rock You there, and I got to play Scaramouche for 3 years, and it was actually interesting auditioning for Ben the second time around, because also you become friends with him. He is one of the most hands-on people with what he creates, and I consider him to be a very close friend. So it was scary auditioning for him a second time, because now you're going up in front of a director and a friend, and doing this show with him has been a completely different experience. It's an entirely different type of show, and it's been wonderful. I've gotten to know a friend better and make new friends in the process. He's an incredibly gifted man and gifted director.
Well, he's been in town through this whole process, but you were also saying that Andrew Lloyd Webber stopped in for the premiere. How was that? Were you guys racked with nerves performing for him?
It was pretty. It's about as big as you get. I mean, you're sitting there, and the first show I ever did in high school was Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Oh my goodness!
Like everybody does Joseph in the high school, right? And all of a sudden, I'm just kind of sitting there, and we get called into the dressing room, and the Lord is there. You know what I mean? And it was just completely surreal and amazing, and it's just, I'm so excited to do this show every night, but this was just an extra shot. It was amazing.
Well, you gotta love it. The Boys in the Photograph playing at Manitoba Theatre Centre till May 28th, is it?
23rd.
May 23rd. All right, so you're going to want to check it out before then. Experience a world premiere right here in Winnipeg. This is not a show to be missed. Guys, thank you very much for coming down and telling us about it. We have got to be taking a break now. Coming back to a lot more BP in a moment.